fix them right up, and I'll make them better. Oh.
I'm Mike and I make stuff. I've been putting out videos for a couple of months now. I'm relatively a new channel, and I figured, when I started doing this, the best thing I could do was, just maybe put together an archive, things that I knew, something for my kids to look back on, and maybe help a couple of people along the way. But the response has been unreal. I have received kudos, shout outs, support, encouragement from thousands of people, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I really appreciate what you guys have been sending me. Keep it coming. I want to keep doing what I'm doing for you. And today, I want to bring to you a little bit of a different video, challenging myself to do something that's a little bit out of my comfort zone, that's going to challenge my ability to be creative, and hopefully it does the same for you. Let's check it out. What I got for us today is to talk about exercising a little bit of creativity by an alley run. Here's what I mean by alley run. I live in a bit of a subdivision. One of those places where there's just a whole tract of cookie cutter kind of houses that were all put in about 200-300 at a time. One property management company holds the whole shebang, and people moving in and out of those things on the regular just about every day. So the dumpsters in the area seem to be pretty interesting a lot of the time. So I figured that I would like to challenge myself in the best way I possibly can. I'm just going to run through, I'm going to find whatever I find in and around the dumpsters, and I'm going to make something out of that regardless of what I get. Let's see what I come up with. So I found an old table leg. Found a couple of pieces of that 1x2 that I used to fix the garage door. I found this chunk of 2x4. The maintenance guys were redoing the kitchen floor, and I found a few of these offcuts from the laminate hardwood floor that they were reinstalling in the kitchen. All of them a bunch of different lengths, whatever, that doesn't matter. And somebody got some kind of a shipping delivery, I'm not sure. But I ended up getting this piece of thin plywood from whatever delivery was made. It came in a shipping crate. The rest of it was busted up, but there was this little piece here. Looks like it was laminated with the gut, but it doesn't matter. I've got a big piece of plywood here. So what am I going to do with all these things? Isn't it obvious? I'm going to make an 18th century inspired Victorian drop leaf pedestal axe. I'll show you what's up. Folks, I think the best way to handle this is let's start with a plan. I always thought that those Victorian little tables, those were really cute. And this leg right here got me started to thinking that would be a good pedestal for a table to stand on. So my plan is to use that guy. I'm going to try to draw something that at least looks the same. We'll see how well I do. Alright, and I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't need any remarks about what that looks like right now. Just give me a second. So we've got our table leg. And my plan is we'll take some feet, set them out just like so. Maybe 3 of them. To give us a base, something like this. And then all we got to do then is figure out a top, which we could do a round top or something like that. That'd be nice. But I thought, when you look at those old Victorian era tables, they do have these round ones sometimes, but they get a lot cooler. Well, they'll have those that are kind of in this like scroll shape. Let me see if I can't sketch that out. And we got a fancy design like this. And I thought, well, if we're going to do a rectangular one like that, then we could slit it right here and right here and make these where they fold down. I seen that along on those little tables. Let's see if we can't make something like this happen. I think we. So we'll start here with our chunk of 2x4. Shout out to 731 Woodworks. Hashtag 2x4. I think we can get the feet that we want for our pedestal out of this. How long do we want our feet? I say arbitrarily right about this. Let's chop this boy off. And I got just enough. Let's take this guy. We'll chop this off into 3 equal lengths. Then we'll work on figuring out what the shape of the feet will be. Cut up that roughly into thirds. They are different lengths. This one here is going to be my shortest, so we'll just make all 3 of them the same size, and that'll tell us exactly how big our feet can be. So we'll just, all right, 3 of the same size pretty much. I don't know anything about the dimensions of them. I'm just working this roughly off the same size as that right there. I think that's going to be aesthetically pleasing for that to be about the same size. I also think that our foot shouldn't be any wider than this piece right here. So we're going to use that as a reference. I think give it about 1/2 inch on either side. So we'll call that good right there. Let's see what we got. Didn't come out anywhere near the lines, but we got awful close. Well, that's okay. We'd like that to be a little bit bigger. Let's go walk the alley, see if we can't find a little bit bigger piece too. All right, I'm back. Well, you can't really make that up. I mean, I suppose you could. But I guess the universe, God, somebody was looking out for me. As soon as I was walking back down there, that same place where I saw that other scrap 2x4, construction guy goes and pitches this right up. Got me a lot more going on here. So now we can really get after it. All right, let's see. That does us a little better. Yes, it does. Gets this off the ground. That's the bottom. I think this looks good. Let's trace this out. Get us 2 more of these, and we'll figure out how to make these pretty legs instead of just chopped up pieces too. Let's see if this next one here scrolls off. Oh, fuck, it hurts. You know what? That's actually going to be the paint that we use to paint this final piece. The construction guys threw that out after they redid one of the apartment buildings. Now we'll get leg number 3. with our jigsaw. We're going to come over to the belt sander. We're going to clean up those 3 legs. I'm also not only going to clean up each of them so that they're the same size, using them as a template for each other so that they come out exactly the same. We'll smooth them out and we'll get them all up to the same shape using this sander portion of the belt sander. But also the round portion on the end of my belt sander here. If you remember, this is round. So I'm going to create a concave indentation in the end of each leg so that it will fit right up against this rather than being flat. We'll have it make right around there. It'll look a lot better. You'll see what I'm doing after I'm done. Alright, now we're going to break out our router. Of course, you guys already know me. Where did I get my router from? Good friends down at the Harbor Break. This is the Trim Master 4-inch trim router. It does not look like this when you first get it. Managed to base plate a couple of handles to give this a little better control. I 3D printed this actually. If I can find any STL files and you're interested, let me know and I'll try to see if I can run it down again for you. Now we have our table leg and our 3 pedestal legs. Put them around here like so. But we need these evenly spaced all the way around. And we tricky. But of course, like many things, I'm going to cheat. So of course, a circle is 360 degrees. So every one of your 3 legs will be 120 degrees apart. 120 by 3 being 360. But I'm going to use a different. I'm going to go with a seamstress tape. This is going to let me go all the way around. Get a measurement of this thing and its diameter. Divide by 3. You know, 164. So 164 divided by 3 is 54 2/3. So one of my legs will be 0.3 of a millimeter off. I think I can live with that. So here. Make our first line. It would measure around 54. To get our next line. Use my trash square. Set myself an arbitrary center measurement. Just eyeballing it really. It's good for my house. Here is I took a couple of blocks and I'm screwed them to either side of the bench or either side of the post. I've done that so I can show you. I've got a drill press. It works just fine. I want you guys to see that you don't have to have a drill press in order to get this done. Drill guide, a bubble level. There's 1,000 ways for you guys to get this done. Three poles on 3 different levels. Be able to go straight through that with some long screws. Now if you notice, I made those holes big enough that this screw slides all the way down in there until it hits the end. The reason I did that is because I don't want it to grab this. I want it to grab the foot on the other side. Use our cheap moxon again. Have our pedestal. Got a little bit of gaps down there, but nothing we can't fix. But now we have three legs all the way around. This is a fun experiment so far. Alright guys, it's just been a couple of seconds for you guys, but it's been overnight. We're in the middle of day 2. I am pumped. This thing is turning out incredible. We've got our 3 legs put onto our table leg base. So we've got our pedestal pretty much done. We're going to move into the tabletop itself. I don't know exactly how I'm going to get this done, but I want to use that laminate wood flooring to give it a nice smooth finished top and put a band around the edges. It'll be oval shaped. I don't know how I want to do it. I have no clue, but we're going to make it happen. In the words of John Malecki, let's get squirrely. I guess the next thing I need to do is figure out how to get myself an oval out of this. Got a pretty good idea. One of those silly hacks to show you. So to get an oval, all we're going to need is a loop of some string. We're going to put us a couple of screws in here, make the magic happen. You get right here in the middle. That looks good. Pin right here. Just like that, we got us a nice little oval. Now I know, I bet you can't see that oval, can you? And I'm not any good with digital photography, but I figured out an analog way to make this happen. Magnifying glass. See there? We got a nice solid line. Take that, Gen Z. Back our screws out. We'll cut out our oval, and we'll get ready to finish this top. Alright, I ran over the bandsaw. I cut out our oval. I'll go over to my belt sander. I'll shape this thing down, make sure it's good and smooth, and then we'll get started for the next step. Or y'all even decide to come at me. Now the good news is those guys are using this interlocking vinyl flooring, which works out really well for us because it's all set up with these special tongue and grooves, and all you do is pretty much rock them back and forth together. We might have a little bit of a kink in things, but nothing crazy. Yeah, they got 2 different brands of floor here. See what we're working with. And we got 4 right there. Those have the proprietary interlock joints to go with each other. Then, watch your fingers, guys. Oh yeah, we got enough to go all the way across this thing. There we go. Then once it's all said and done, that thing is in essence the appearance of a single panel once it's laying flat, like so. Add a dab of glue. Probably a hell of a lot more than a dab. Ooh, that glue's getting squirrely. It's alright though. I bet it'll still be sticky. You know what? Better yet, I'm gonna leave it to you guys. I'm gonna let you teach me something. I don't remember when, but I do remember a little bird telling me once upon a time, when that glue starts to get goopy like that, I could bring it back if I shot a little water into it and mixed it up. You guys have any experience with that? Let me know in the comments. Might have been a little much. When I do this kind of oddball swirly stuff, like grab some trash, try to make something out of it, this is where I do my best to exercise my creativity, which is in fact a muscle. It's got to be exercised. There is a reason that a child is so much more imaginative than we are. And that's because they're not exuding as much of their mental capacity or the adult responsibilities that we all have to contend with in life. That makes them very imaginative, and they get to exercise that muscle really often. For us, as we get older, we get responsible and start adulting, not so much. So this is sort of my little chance to be a kid, act silly, try silly things, see what happens. Thank you for joining me while doing it. I hope you're loving it. All right, hardwood floor. Let's make her happen, Captain. All right, get this last one in here. Got these damn little bugs coming in from next door. Living next to college kids, you gotta love it, right? We've got all those interlocked. 100% coverage on our oval. We need to get some weight, lay that thing down. Nothing says weight like big freaking rocks and bricks. Info made out of railroad track. We'll let that sit for a while, see what happens. I got a couple pieces of this 1x2. I think I could chop this up into some pieces and make myself an oval and then cut it oval shaped after the fact. As I understand while that glue is drying, I'm going to fine tune some of the fit around these legs. I don't like that. I'm going to try to coat that a little bit better so that it fits better. Looks like we got glue adhesion stuck on now. I'm going to go ahead and trim this down. We'll see what it looks like when we get done. Let's look at it together for the first time. Watch out now. If we're not careful, we're starting to look like we know what we're doing. I'm going to grab our flush trim bit. $5. Very fancy router bit containment. I got guy right there. I'll do router bits next. Make sure that router bit is all the way down in there. Right? I've seen social media posts of newer woodworkers that'll show the shank of that bit just bent like so. Talk about this horror story of the thing flew across the room, almost took their eye out. And that's because they leave so much of that shank sticking out the end that as this is doing its work, it's flexing it to one side. Eventually it works all of this loose and it goes wobbling around and it shoots out. It'll tear you up. All right, I'm gonna clean up this edge, get rid of the glue, squeeze out, stuff like that. Then we'll pattern bit this guy. Make sure we're good to go. We're good to go. Oh, we got a loose part right here on this side. I didn't get enough glue. After all that glue, I still didn't get enough glue on part of this. It's all right though. I know what to do now. We'll have another bit of a wait. But we'll jam some glue down in there and then we'll clamp it this time. Instead of just relying on gravity. Nobody is going to accuse me of having a glue-starved joint in here. Well, one of y'all probably will, but don't worry, I'll just ignore you. Enough squeeze out for you? I think it is for me. Keep working this all the way around and make sure that this thing seats up good and tight. Alright guys, a little bit of a new development. While I was putting a gratuitous amount of glue, I should have listened to Bearded Viking telling me to just add a dab of glue. But I didn't. I added a glop of glue. Now for my bearing to roll cleanly around the oval so that I get a good clean oval up top, I have to take care of all of this squeeze out. Good times. Alright guys, we narrowed that catastrophe. We got past it. Alright. I went back and reviewed where somebody was telling me to add a dab of glue. Found out my mistake. I didn't add a dab of glue. I added a gob of glue. Which is an easy mistake to make, I guess. Much as I tried to find one, I did not find any kind of way to do a segmented oval. So, I guess I'm going to have to wing it. Piece, trace right here. Cut that shape out and keep on trucking. It took me about 10 minutes to get this one set. It's supposed to be. Change of plan. New plan is we're going to put our edge profile right as it is, and then we can fill that in with filler and wooden sawdust. See if we can't salvage this one. I love this. I'm learning so much out of this. Change out our flush trim. Do I do a OG or do I do a roundup? I think the OG would actually look better. It seems like the type of profile they would have put on there with a rounding plane or with a molded back in the day. All the way down in the collar, every time. You know? I don't know if y'all can see that, but I've done uglier things for less money. All right, well that is an edge profile. Is it a good one? Done better. Maybe I'm safe. I'm gonna try again. That ability to improvise. Got all that glued up on the sides. Gave it that profile. I think after we sand it down, a little bit more shaping and finishing, that won't be in bad shape. Well, then. This base, on the other hand, looks phenomenal. I think this came out phenomenal, and it has absolutely inspired me. But we're going to use that same glue and sawdust trick, seal up some of these holes. Hey guys, so I'm going to make the rest of the clips. I'm going to try to make them as brief as possible. You may hear me talking pretty fast and talking a lot. The clips might be a little bit abrupt, but we've got some people out in the neighborhood. They're enjoying it. It's a nice, wonderful day outside today. And who am I to say that I'm allowed to enjoy the day when they're not? So I'm not going to go over there and talk to them about their music being loud or something like that. I'm just going to do my best to navigate around it. Okay, guys? Forgive me for the rest of this video. Let's just get this table done. Alrighty, the short and sweet version. How do I intend to attach my tabletop to this pedestal? Well, I cut myself a board right here. I'm going to screw that right here, and that gives me an anchor point where I can screw 3 or 4 screws up into my tabletop, get this thing wrapped up. Just like that. So now that will attach to my tabletop. We'll be ready for sanding, painting, and finishing. Get this thing whipped up and ready to go. Well, we better be careful now. That's starting to look like a table. I'm gonna get a coat of paint.
All right, y'all. Before it gets any further in the day, and we have any more people deciding that they want to enjoy it, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm calling this a W. I have successfully challenged myself. I'm taking a chunk of plywood, table leg, jibber boards, and old flooring, turning it into a decent table. Could I chase this down to the end and make it absolutely the finest piece of furniture I could? Absolutely I could. But at the end of the day, this table doesn't really have a home. So it's probably going to end up going right back in the dumpster. But the lessons I learned from it were more than enough.
Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. That was a hell of a lot of fun for me. Was it the best table I ever made? Absolutely not. Was it a table that I would sell to somebody? I don't think so. Honestly, I'm probably going to go put it right back in the dumpster unless I can find somebody that I can give it away to for free. But that wasn't the point. The point of today was to exercise my creativity, to take what it was that was in front of me and do something useful with it, and I think I accomplished that. I hope that this inspires you to take a look at things around you a little differently and not write things off so easily, because just a couple of little scraps of nothing can turn into something pretty cool. Thanks for sticking with me. If you do something similar, I'd love to see it in the comments. Let me see what you got. If that's something you do different, I'd love to hear that too. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe. You guys know the drill. I'll catch you guys next week.